Good evening and welcome. In the morning, we spoke about the identity issue, and I would like to emphasize that identity is very, very important. I've always given this example in any seminar that I've taught, in any training that I've taught, and this example is the most vivid that I can make. Let's say you are in grade 7. I don't know where you are listening from. It's grade 7, year 7, and you are in primary school. And then I give you a matric grade 12 maths problem. If I ask you to try it, the most likely thing is that you will not even attempt it because your own self-image tells you that it's higher than you are. Therefore, you don't attempt it. But when you are now in a higher grade, let's say you are in grade 9, grade 12, and I give you a grade 7 maths problem, the first instinct in your mind is, I will do it, I can do it, I can beat it, I can come right with the answers. It's because your self-image is higher than the challenge that you are facing, that grade 7 maths problem. And in life, if our identity, our self-image does not rise up to a higher level, we will be scared of things that we can do. We will be scared to try new things because we think they are not meant for us. Our identity, our self-image is at a lower level. And then the challenge in our minds, in our perception, is at a higher level. So it's critical that you learn how to engineer a new identity or a new self-image. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, many years ago, he came up with this idea of a self-image. And if your self-image is lower, you will do less attempts because your self-image governs, determines what you attempt in life. And success is a numbers game. The more times you try things, the better your chances of succeeding. So you really need to build a better self-image. So tonight, I hope you have executed on your goals. And today is the 6th day of our challenge. So you need to, this is the 6th day, you need to be gathering a lot of momentum. You need to increase your focus. More important for me is that your goals should be at a higher speed by the time that we finish these 21 days. So you don't find a new identity, you build it. Identity engineering is deliberate. It is conscious, it is strategic. It has 3 components. The first one is identity declaration. You identify who you are becoming. Who am I becoming? This is not who you are today. This is who you choose to become. So you choose, it's a decision. You don't engineer your identity by accident. You deliberately make a decision to develop a new identity, a new self-image. You declare an identity that pulls you forward. I'm a disciplined person. I am someone who finishes what I start. I'm a top performer. I'm a valuable asset. I'm someone who shows up. I'm consistent. I'm reliable. Identity declaration is the blueprint. You need to learn to declare your identity. So even if you go to the Bible, there is a scripture that says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. And you ask yourself, why does it say we must say so? Because there is power in what you say. If you say it often, you will build belief, and that belief is the one that governs your habits. Once in a while, any person, any man, any woman can do things that are extraordinary out of what they normally do. But to consistently keep the momentum of extraordinary actions and executions, the identity needs to be built up. Identity declaration is therefore the blueprint. You must declare an identity that pulls you forward. Most people are declaring an identity on a daily basis. The unfortunate thing, that identity is pulling them backward. So they are basing their new identity, new every day, based on the things that they have not accomplished. And they call themselves the opposite of what they should call themselves going forth. So identity evidence, what actions prove this? So a lot of people don't like the idea of declarations, affirmations, because they say it's a lie. But identity evidence, what actions prove this? Identity requires receipts. So when I say that I am someone who shows up, I put the effort to show up. When I say that I am consistent in this 21-day challenge, do you do what you need to do on a day-to-day basis? We are building evidence for you to say, I'm disciplined, I'm consistent, I'm a valuable person. Identity requires receipts, small daily actions that confirm the story you are trying to create or you are creating. If your new identity is, I'm disciplined, your evidence is getting up at the time you said. You don't change your alarm clock 50 times before you wake up. Doing the work you promised. If you promise something, you honor your word. Following through even when it's boring. That's important. Most people give up because the things that they need to do to become successful, most of them are boring. If your new identity is I'm valuable, your evidence is learning new skills. You can't become valuable and you are sleeping 24 hours. You are sleeping throughout the day. Improving your execution, you become better at the things that you are already doing. You're showing up with excellence. You don't just show up anyhow. If your identity is I'm confident, your evidence is speaking up, sharing ideas, taking risks, standing tall. Identity without evidence is fantasy. Evidence without identity is random. Together, they create transformation. The identity environment, what around me reinforces who I want to become. Your environment shapes your identity more than your intentions do. Look at your workspace, phone apps, schedule, routines, friends, conversations, inputs, habits. Do they reflect your future self or your past? Your identity must be supported by the environment you build. If your environment is chaotic, your identity becomes chaotic. If your environment is structured, your identity becomes structured. Identity engineering is not a general exercise. It is environmental design. Who around you is helping you get to where you want to get to? The future self-contract. Most people fail because they keep negotiating with their present self, the version of themselves that wants comfort, ease, and convenience. To change your identity, you must stop negotiating with the present, with your present, and start committing to the future. This is where the future self-contract comes in. It is simple but powerful. You write a commitment between the person you are today and the person you must become to live the life you want. It includes 3 parts. Who I am becoming a clear, specific identity statement, like we said. You are becoming someone who executes. You are becoming someone who is reliable. You are becoming someone who commands value. You are becoming someone worth following. You are becoming someone who thrives under pressure. What I will no longer tolerate, you must decide that which you will no longer tolerate. Identity upgrades require identity boundaries. Write what ends today. I no longer tolerate inconsistency. I no longer tolerate self-doubt running my decisions. I no longer tolerate procrastination. I no longer tolerate excuses. I no longer tolerate an identity below my potential. Talking about excuses, this is what I have taught many times. That many people, they fight for their excuses. And guess what? Like Jim Quick says, they get to keep them. If you fight for your excuses, you get to keep them. So don't fight for your excuses. The actions I commit to daily. Identity grows through repetition. That is important. I commit to showing up. I commit to finishing what I start. I commit to doing the uncomfortable things. I commit to the habits that match my future self. You sign this contract, you read it daily, you live it until it becomes true. Identity is a contract, it's not a feeling. So identity comes before outcomes. You can achieve outcomes without upgrading identity, like I said. But you cannot maintain those outcomes consistently. This is why people lose weight, then gain it back, why they hit sales targets, then collapse, why they start businesses, then quit, why they get motivated, then lose steam, why they build momentum, then self-sabotage. They changed their behavior temporarily, but their identity stayed the same. You can't outperform your identity. You can't outperform your self-image. Your identity will always drag you back to the level of the person you believe yourself to be until you intentionally rewrite it. Permanent outcomes follow identity the way shadows follow light. When your identity changes, your decisions change, your habits change, your standards change, your relationships change, your execution changes, your entire life changes. Identity is the engine, outcomes are the exhaust. Comment identity below. We'll continue talking about the issue of identity and self-image because it is key to changing your outcomes, changing your execution, bringing your success. It is key. Let me tell you a story about self-image and identity. When I went to school, just when I finished primary school, in my first year of secondary school, I was not very good with mathematics. So the first term, I was in an A class. The first term, we did not write a test at the end of the term. We did not write an exam, but we took our coursework and we put it together. And by accident, I was at the top of the A class. You know, in a grade with 5 other classes, I was in the A class and I was at the top of the A of the maths. I was the best in maths by accident because they took our coursework and I was at the top. From that day, I made a decision that if I can beat everyone in this A class, I can be good at maths forever. And I made that decision because that particular incident, it changed my own self-image about myself. It changed my identity about myself with regards to mathematics. And I ended up studying engineering. Why? Because that's in particular incident, it entirely changed my life because I identified myself as someone who executed well in mathematics. So that I leave with you today. Comment, ident it below, and let's meet again tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.